Hey, hello, how are you? Welcome back for another Roots Recap. This is Midweek Madness with Patrick. I hope you enjoyed our other two episodes this week. I know I did for Major and Tim. But today I want to talk about the news into Russia, Ukraine, as well as Jerome Powell's speech today at the FOMC meeting. First, we'll start off with Russia. I mean, big news, obviously. Everybody's been talking about it. The ruble has plunged under the weight of these sanctions. I mean, it's been absolutely brutal. And with those sanctions come limited access to international transfers. Russia's economy has really taken a beating. This could be good for cryptocurrencies, actually, as an alternative to SWIFT. And the markets seem to agree with Bitcoin coming back up to near 45,000. I think if it breaks over 45,000 and remains above, holds that line, we could see bigger gains into the future coming months. Beyond sanctions just by governments, too, Russia hasn't had any help from corporations either. Many big corporations, Western corporations, are pulling out or otherwise readjusted, cut services, discontinued sales entirely due to the attack on the Ukraine. And so companies like Apple, Exxon, Ford, Boeing all have in some way impacted Russia and Russia's economy as well. So they're really not getting any sort of safety line here. And I think it's really interesting. Probably the most interesting dynamic here is the one that exists between Russia and China right now. It's really interesting to see what China is doing in response because that is, after all, their biggest ally. Uh, and it will be interesting to see what they continue to do. But it seems right now that China is really trying to toe the line to support Russia because, after all, they are their biggest, closest ally. And they still don't want to really get too involved as well. They also don't want to get sanctions put on China. They want to retain access to Western markets. So it's really interesting to see how they're doing it. I think right now, into the coming weeks, I think we'll see China continue and try to take a mediator role where they're trying to broker a peace or some sort of ceasefire, something like that between Ukraine and Russia to stop, the chaos. It would be interesting if you like a high risk, high rewards type trades. You could be buying rubles right now, which obviously have really plunged, or just the Russell, like Russian stocks long ETF. And, that could pay out for you if it ends up better than, it is right now. It could also really get worse. So, I mean, like I said, high risk, high reward. It's something I've been thinking about. Uh, and I think more than Russia, while we have kind of pivoted away from the old federal interest rate talks, Powell remains dedicated to a quarter of a point interest rate hike in March. And I think this is interesting. I think that the markets have responded positively to that because there was always the fear that you could get a 0.5% rate hike in March. And I think that was looking more likely before Russia Ukraine. And I think right now they're looking to take it maybe a little bit slower for at least the short to midterm. Powell did mention that he still is open to larger moves later, maybe 0.5% in the future. But for right now, they're looking at a quarter of a percent or quarter of a point into March. So we should be expecting that, but it seems like the market has reacted positively. As you can see, the S&P 500 has closed up 1.8% today. So it'll be interesting to see what happens in the next couple months. I think personally that a lot of tech companies, the good ones, I mean, I think 6 months, 9 months ago, a year ago, every tech was up. Didn't matter what it was. If it was tech, it was up. And that happens in really low interest rate times, and there are some, not so great ones that were up a whole lot. And I think we've seen a lot of those come down. Tons of tech has dropped, 50, 70% of its value in the recent months. And I think we could see the good ones, the ones that are worth having, the ones with value, come back up. So that's what I'm going to be looking at into the next several weeks, coming up months, is to look at key levels in the S&P 500 here. See if we can make an all-time high again. See if we break above that or if we get rejected off of it. I'll also be looking at tech companies and as well as Bitcoin. I mean, with BTC, it would be really interesting to see it close and hold above 4,500. So I'll be looking at that into the coming days, and we could be seeing bigger moves into the coming months as well. So I hope you enjoyed today's talk, Roots Recap. Like and subscribe. Give a look at our comment section below. Let me know if there was anything that I missed that you wanted to talk about, but I didn't. And don't forget to check out our Discord and podcast. Link is in the description below. For more great content and content providers, I'm sure you've already seen Major and Tim. But, we have a lot of different things. We go more in depth into those. And, guys, if I don't see you on there, I'll catch you next week. Thank you. Goodbye.